excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get your skate every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Here we go. We can say what we want to say. Yeah, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. I was going to bring this up because I was reading this article that was put out by one of these radio coaches. He coaches morning shows and talent and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of went on a little bit of a rant about shows that do not give their perspective and take on big-time events that everybody has a reaction to. And i.e. the latest example was the storming of the Capitol last week. He said, I hear these standard pushbacks like, oh, we don't do politics is the most often one used.
You just said that today, Virginia.
I did, and I stand by it.
Listeners are looking for an escape from the topic. No, they're not. They might be looking for an escape from the seriousness of it, but we all want to be around whatever is going on right now. It helps us feel connected to the world. So go be that in the most human of ways, and the audience will lean in. So he has this whole thing about, that the silly shows, the ones that are not significant, did not talk about it. And the ones that do, they did it through their own filter and lens and related it to their audience. And, yeah, I know it's always a discussion that we have. And, yeah, we're one of those shows that's like, not necessarily politics. And he's like, part of his article, too, he talked about it's not necessarily politics. It's just the reality of seeing what is going on and what it means for our country. It's a big moment in time. Your audience wants to hear what you have to say about it. And then he kind of went on. He's like, one talent did a 4-minute break about how she could eat an entire 16-inch pizza in one sitting.
Was that our show?
It sounded a lot like it.
And is he calling me the chick? Because sometimes people think my voice is a woman's voice.
Yes.
Carry all that stuff. It's different for every single show, and it's easy.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
It's easy to sit down and say you can do this and do that and do this and do that.
Well, I think it would be something. We do. I like to get feedback from the audience and say, what is it that you want from this show? What do you expect from this show? Did you tune in? I know a couple of people text and said, hey, you guys going to comment about it? And, unfortunately, there's just nothing that you can say, even if you're just relating to what had happened. You can really regurgitate what you already saw on the news for the most part. And I would say a majority of people, even a lot of people who are more on the Republican side or conservative side were saying that, they were saddened to see what had happened. But aside from that, where do you go with that? And so, so it'd be nice. I always like to get comments back from our audience. They were like, were you disappointed the day after that there was a couple fleeting references and a jab here and there, but there wasn't anything that was a deep dive into what had happened that day at the Capitol. And so, obviously, these big radio coaches are like, if you want to be a significant show, you are. And if you're just a piece of garbage show, then you didn't. So.
Yeah, I completely disagree with the radio consultant, but I always disagree.
What's the name of said consultant?
Steve Reynolds.
Yeah, a lot of times I disagree with radio consultants because
a lot of these old dogs, they're dumb.
Well, I just think it's easy to sit on the sideline and say you should do this and do that. Now, does Mr. Reynolds have a show? Is he in the thick of it? When's the last time he cracked a microphone? Is he in the thick of stuff? Does he,
He used to do a show. He doesn't anymore. He just coaches.
But when did he do his show,
Years
A
ago.
while ago.
Very long time.
Times change. And you have to also, there was a baseball coach who always loved to make every single kid hit the same exact way. Get your elbow up. And it caused a lot of problems with parents, but he knew what he was doing because he was a professional baseball player formerly. Every kid had to do the same exact thing, and kids started struggling terrible. The point of the story is every kid, every show, everything is different. It's hard to make a blanket statement and say you should be doing it that way because everything's different.
Mm-hmm. But on things like that, I do like to get the feedback from our audience on, because our belief right now and my thinking is that you clearly know what's going on. You clearly know it's out there. None of us are political experts.
No.
None of us are even, these type of experts with things of government. And like I said, do you want to hear us talking about things of government and of things that happen, or would you rather hear us talking about eating a 16-inch pizza in an hour?
You also got to be careful to fall into the trap of just doing things just to do things. Well, something big happened, so you're supposed to do this. I don't know.
Well, and honestly, the argument is they want to hear your reaction to this big moment in time. And I think that the audience probably does want to hear a reaction on things, but it's usually there's a big UFO story or there's something along those lines where maybe we know a little bit more about and have a little bit more passion into it.
Well, if I listen to a show that's always a little goofy and on the lighter side, and then I tune in,
And they're getting all heavy and political.
and goofball fuckface Bird over here, well, here's the thing about the Capitol, guys. NASDAQ set. Like, no one wants to hear my fucking take on that.
Yeah. So
I think you have to do what feels comfortable to you, too. At the end of the day, I mean, do you, as the person on the radio, feel comfortable taking a political stance and talking about something like that that's so polarizing when I myself in my personal life know that, half my friends love Biden, half my friends love Trump. I love all my friends.
Yeah.
So where the fuck does that leave me?
Yeah. That's how I felt as well. But I'm like, well, being the host, I'm responsible for what does or does not make the show. And I felt very comfortable in that. And other people would ask me, like, hey, how did you do it? And how did you talk about it? I'm like, man, honestly, we really didn't. And, some people are like, oh, really? Didn't even talk about it? That's kind of a big story. I'm like, yeah, but,
I'm
it's
not
big
falling
everywhere
into your
else.
trap. I'm not falling into your radio trap that just because it's big, everybody has to talk about it. If we don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it.
The other thing, too, is politics, especially in radio and just with the spoken word form, it is an oversaturated market. Everybody and their mother is doing politics. You can get it anywhere. You can get anyone's hot take on people storming the Capitol, on any of that shit. Now, can you get the hot take on pizza? I don't think a lot of people are doing that bullshit.
You're right. That's what we do. Somebody texted and said, so I know on Facebook a lot of people were upset because they had said that when you have the other protests like the George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, people are up in arms about that, but they don't really see it as the same thing when you break into the Capitol and you have that kind of protest like that. It's okay, but the other stuff is not. I'll tell you the difference on that, and I think a lot of it comes down to your own personal interests. And I personally was moved to say something on racial equality in America and things that go on from some friends that I've had and conversations that I've had. And I have been blessed with a different perspective of it. And I wanted to share that. And that was a hot button for me. And it's not like I'm supporting the group Black Lives Matter. I am just a person who really believes that we could do better when it comes to equality and understanding each other. And so that's why I brought that up, because that is a hot button for me.
Well, now people are annoyed that we're talking. You guys are talking about it, and you said you're not going to talk about it. Now you're fucking talking about it. Well, I don't know what to fucking tell you all.
Well, we're having a conversation about whether we should or not.
No,
And
Kevin, move on. No,
It's
fuck
important.
you. You're
Yeah.
terrible. You suck. You're talking. Dance, Kevin.
At the end of the day, you have to do what is in your heart. And from day to day, it changes.
Yeah.
From moment to moment, it changes. And I think if you navigate this and you sleep well at night, screw everybody else. Do it the way you feel best.
Well, if I would feel that we would have a different angle on it and something and it was personally moving to us, then yeah, I think we probably would find a way to bring it up. But otherwise, I mean, unless you guys overwhelmingly tell me that, yes, I was discouraged, that I did not hear that on the KVJ show extensively the following day, and that's what you should be doing. Unless I hear that, then we'll continue to do it as usual.
I'd just rather laugh. I'd just rather have fun. I'd just rather be a dumbass and
Yeah,
be goofy
we
and
do that well.
do other stuff that suits us better. We're just not good at talking about political serious stuff.
They're mad at the fact that you're talking about politics on the air, if that makes sense. The
Yeah.
fact that you're even asking that question, like, okay, guys, move on. Slow news day.
No, it's not. Actually, I got a stack of stuff. But like I said, there are people that are in our industry that really question my judgment on that and feel like I was copping out. And so, when I have something like that, that was on my mind, saying, wow, am I not doing my job? Am I being a cop-out? Am I being chicken shit about this?
There's always been people in our industry that have said things about the way that you've done stuff. And you know what? When time tells the tale years later, a lot of those dumb radio jackasses actually had to eat their words. So fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, that one radio consultant, he didn't believe in you hiring a witch, but look what you did. You did it.
And I put a spell on his ass.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin doesn't listen to always, what they say.
You just have to hope that your heart tells you what to do and then follow that. And then at the end of the day, you did the best you could based on what your heart told you to do.
Yeah. Josh said, I would rather hear you take a position than fence sitting. And when I do feel passionate about something, I'm one of these people, I am slow to respond. I like to get all the information. I like to really have my opinion solidified. I don't like to pop off. I know a lot of people in media like to just kind of go on a whim and just go off about something and rant. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a fan of really feeling solid about my opinion so I can tell you why. Like when I did talk about the racial justice things, I went very deep on that. And I can tell you, I spent a lot of time researching that and talking to people, and there I went. So when I do have an opinion, I will share it. But otherwise, I'm not going to have an opinion just to have an opinion.
And a lot of the people that share their opinions about the political stuff have already established themselves as a certain political party. You're not going to get that from this show because we're all independent.
Yeah.
We don't ascribe to a political party.
Politically, I'm a fence sitter.
But I did want to talk.
Yeah, you can't be a fence sitter, Kevin, because you're a fence sitter.
But I did want to give a hot take. Did you hear Pelosi and Pence talk about? No, I'm just kidding.
You couldn't keep going
Yeah.
because you don't know what they said.
I couldn't keep going because I was actually about to offend somebody just with the fact that I even said two political names. I made sure I got both parties.
Oh, no. Question answered. If anybody has any takes on that, you can send me the email at kvjshow.com. Let me know what you think. We got a couple additional questions from Virginia's sitting on the hot seat today for Plead the Fifth. One was, has Virginia and Kevin ever had a drunken makeout session after a karaoke party? John sent that in. And I'm sure, my voice does get the ladies going when I sing. So I'm sure Virginia did want to have a drunken makeout session after a karaoke party, but it did not happen.
No.
So I'm sure the desire was there.
Ralston leaves karaoke about 3 seconds after it's over, too.
Yeah.
I'm the one that sticks around and tries to scare up some fun with people and get all stupid and drink shots. And
She was the one hammered stalking Casey Anthony.
that's true.
The
Right.
back of her head.
Yeah.
I made some fun friends that night with KVJ Nation that I still am friends with to this day.
I don't doubt it. There's a lot of great people out there that listen to the program.
And some of the best friendships are formed after cocktails and karaoke, but Kevin doesn't stay.
Yeah, the queen is like, all right, we're getting home. So.
Well, that's when dry humping starts.
The queen knows
Yeah.
that nothing good is going to happen after karaoke.
In fact, there should be a rule. None of us should stay after 30 minutes of an event when there's that much drinking.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
And that's the problem.
Here was one from Natalia. Said, I caught the Vicious V Panda Q&A post on Facebook earlier, and it didn't dawn on me to ask them, but I'm currently watching the Saints game, and I have to ask, if the Bills and Saints both made it to the Super Bowl, what would that situation be like in the Sinicki house?
So we talked about this because everybody on social media is saying this to us. Oh, the Bills and the Saints could go. If that happens, Panda says he wants to go to Tampa. Now, this is the man that hasn't even left the house to go eat inside a restaurant. But
Right.
I don't know why his ass wants to go to Tampa, but he does. So if his team is in it, he will go to Tampa. I will stay home and watch the Saints at home. I've got no interest in going to a Super Bowl during the pandemic. I just don't. I know for him it's different. The Bills haven't been there. Mm-hmm. The Saints have been there, and they were in Miami, and it wasn't that long ago, and I went down there for that, and it was awesome. I loved it. I don't really like Tampa anyway.
How would you root in the house, though, if you guys even stay home?
We won't stay home. If he will go to Tampa, and I will stay here.
Okay.
Yeah. And if by some chance he didn't go to Tampa, we would have to watch it in two different places. Meaning he would go hang out with some Bills people, or I would go hang out with some Saints people. We would not watch it in the same house.
Maybe he hangs out with his boy Bird. Another bikini party, girls' night or boys' night out.
Yeah, girls' night. The truth comes out.
That's not the
It's girls' night.
I can't even imagine how tough that Super Bowl ticket would be to get, though, because they are doing limited seating as well. I'm not sure what they are. I know when I went to the national championship game on Monday night, I think it was 16,000, they said. And there was some noise in the stadium, but I got to tell you, I loved it more than anything else because there was like nobody else in a row.
Yeah.
And you had all this room to move and spread out. And I'm like, this is glorious.
You're probably gonna see 30,000 people at the Super Bowl. I bet you they sell 30,000 seats.
I thought they limited to 16. I think it's 20% capacity.
DeSantis wanted them to fill the whole entire stadium,
Yeah.
and money talks.
I think they've already sounded off on that.
The question is, I think everyone wants to know: did you have to give Roadhead for that ticket?
Oh, I never suck and tell.
You are a true gentleman.
Aw.
Yes, that's what I am.
Well, there was 3 dudes, right? It was you, your fancy friend, and then another dude, and then the driver. It's hard to give Roadhead with that many
Yeah, no,
eyes.
it was a full. Well, on the way back, it was just he and I, but there was some people he had to pick up in Fort Lauderdale that were from out of town friends.
You're right.
Interesting.
Extra people makes
What
it
kind
extra.
of vehicle were y'all in?
It was like a big old SUV, black SUV kind of thing that had,
Fancy.
had 2 rows.
Ralston rolling up like the Secret Service.
Yeah, well, it was nice.
Well, those blowjobs got to pay for himself somehow.
Yeah, it says just over 13,000 fans will be in the stadium. They seat about 66,000 there at Raymond James Stadium. So yeah, with that, it's that's how many people will be in attendance. I guess just 13. So that is not going to be a cheap ticket.
Yeah, and I don't know if I believe that number.
That's at least 4 large.
When
that
there's
ticket.
so much money to be made.
I know.
You
but
mean to tell me people aren't going to try to sneak a few thousand more in?
how are they going to do that?
I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah.
I got
It
nothing.
is.
I got nothing
I mean, they
for
could.
you.
I'm sure people would buy the tickets and go in, but the NFL itself too. They don't want that heat. I mean, imagine that if they have these photos and it's a packed stadium and people are like, I mean, especially with what we got going on with COVID numbers right now.
Well,
and
they talked about packing it with healthcare workers. What happened to that?
I don't know about packing it. They talked about getting them in. I don't know if I know DeSantis at first, he had made that one statement, but I think, everything's kind of settled back to reality in the situation that we're in right now with COVID.
The witch is making some bold claims right now. A lot of them not really. You're just saying shit.
That's what witches do.
It's going to be 30,000, Kev.
Lynn in the chat room said that tickets, she's a Bills fan, they're starting at $5,100
Oh,
5,100?
for
Yeah.
one ticket?
for a ticket.
Oh, man.
That actually sounds about right.
Damn.
You got to make sure. I mean, you don't have to do anything because you're an independent woman. But if the Bills do lose, you got to give Panda mind-blowing sex. He is going to be. You might have to try some things you've never
He's
done
going to
before.
be inconsolable with puss.
Okay, but how?
You're not going to be able to fix his pain with what I've got.
Okay, let's say that they just whooped the Saints in the Super Bowl and he wants sex right away to celebrate. Are you going to be in a good enough mood that would he get Super Bowl sex?
No, not if the Saints lose to anybody in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be in the mind frame to get down.
Okay, what if the Bills lose and he's down and out, but a little SH would make him feel better? A little sympathy head. Would you?
I was like, S-H.
Do you do it?
Shithole? I was trying to figure out what SH stood for, and none of it was good.
You make him feel better.
Look, if his team loses and he asks for something, I will give it to him.
Okay.
But if his team loses, I don't think he's going to want to be touched.
Really?
He's going to have to go outside for a walk.
At least not by you.
Maybe by the guy that took him to the game.
Well, you're the winner.
If Panda gets a ticket for $5,100 to the Super Bowl, though, I will just go on record and I'll tell any guy he will probably give you Roadhead.
Okay. So
Unlike
you're putting
Kevin.
that out there.
And that's a good prize.
Yeah.
A little RH.
RH.
If that's on the line, that's fun. If you're getting it.
You say that right now he gets pretty bummed out if his Bills lose a regular season football game.
Absolutely.
What is his typical reaction? The Bills have lost. What does your husband do?
At this point in the playoffs, he probably...
Because this has been a while since they've been to this place.
It's been 25 years.
I've known him longer, and I've seen it happen. I've been in the room when the Bills have lost, and that's why I'm trying to work out the sex deal for Panda, because my man gets broken-hearted. It's rough.
Look, whatever he needs.
Okay.
I will do whatever he needs. I don't know about the shithole, but everything else.
Yeah, what if Panda's like, babe, a little anal?
Anal's the only way?
It's the only thing that's going to console me.
He's never asked for it before.
But the Bills got him heartbroken. And that's the only thing that's gonna make him feel better.
I mean, I think I gotta do it.
Wow.
It's not gonna be fun.
How about that?
Panda, if you're listening.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to score some Vicodin.
That's sexy.
And also some numbing cream, maybe?
Yes, some lidocaine.
That's a great combo. She walks into a Walgreens.
You know, if I'm looking for Vicodin and lidocaine,
I
you
need
know.
numbing cream, lube, and Vicodin.
I gotta tell you, I didn't give a shit who won this thing, but now I got something to look forward to. It's just there's an energy behind this game.
That's fantastic. Well, you've got the Bills. They're taking on the Ravens this week. I haven't seen point spread yet, but I would say that the Bills could handle that and should be the favorite.
Yeah, the Bills, the NFL put out their ranking this morning, power rankings.
Okay.
And they have the Chiefs at number 1 and the Bills at number 2.
If they get to that, but yeah, unfortunately, they're not playing them yet.
And then they have the Packers at 3, the Ravens at 4.
Okay.
So they're saying that the Bills are better than the Ravens?
The Bills are 2.5-point favorites over the Ravens. And then
Are you still giggling about shithole?
I'm sorry, we have a very funny audience. I'm reading all the comments from all of our forums, and we have a lot of good comedians in the audience. Sorry.
And then your Saints are a 3-point favorite over the Buccaneers.
Yes.
Tampa Bay.
It's Tom Brady versus Drew Brees, and that's a fascinating thing too, with the two old men still quarterbacking.
Yes.
It's fascinating.
Somebody
It's a
said
great
the game
story.
should be on the History Channel.
It should be. It's just a fascinating story of these two guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. So we'll see what happens. You are both favored to get through this weekend, though. So.
Oh boy.
There's a lot to look forward to with this game.
Oh yeah.
That's why they call it the big game.
A lot on it.
The big game.
Got an email here from Eric and Sebastian. Said, hey, I'm just following and would like to check on the new RMF sales guy that provided Jell-O shots to Jay Bird at the ATS podcast right before Halloween. Jay Bird said he got the shots from the new sales guy, Doggins Gibbons, who was killing it in the 25 to 38. I'm wishing Doggins Gibbons well and hope he stayed clear of Lana and General Warts.
Doggins Gibbons.
General Warts.
I must have just been on Lana must have been on quite the rant that day.
That's a pretty funny email.
Mm-hmm. And best ATS podcast. I've watched it multiple times. So
Those drinking podcasts are just fun.
I really, really enjoy them. I have a good time. I feel like we're at a bar.
They're bad, dirty fun.
It's a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do one this week. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to diet, but fuck that diet.
You just started the diet
I
today.
don't know, I can tell. I was too low in weight. I thought I was way heavier, so I'm kind of dicky
You're
about
feeling
it.
kinda good about it.
Yeah, I got a little energy.
You weigh exactly the same as Suits.
Yeah, well, I mean, 182, I think, is what it was. I mean, 182 is a good weight for me.
So you're like, I don't really need a diet now.
Well, when I take off my shirt, it doesn't look good. So I gotta make some adjustments. There's some shit I gotta do.
Okay.
What you gonna do?
Probably stop eating all this trail mix and all these hand pies and pizza. Probably go run.
This email says, isn't the Peacock TV channel free for everyone? I've heard you guys talking about it, and it's been driving me crazy because I don't have Verizon, so it's not through that, and I don't pay for it. I get all the shows. I don't know how I just needed a reason to email you. I've been listening since my mom was driving me to middle school. Now I'm the mom driving my kids to middle school. Love you guys. Yeah, it's not Verizon. It's Xfinity. And I don't know because I have it and it's just there on the menu item. So I can't tell you does everybody get it?
Maybe it's a channel where they give it to everybody at first and then they get you hooked on it and then they turn it into a subscription service.
So I do have the Peacock, and people have been calling me out because I was praising it the other day, saying how they've got all these extra features on The Office. And when I watch it on my television, there is commercials in there. When I watch it on my laptop, it's not. And I think I have to buy maybe the premium.
Yeah, I think if you do premium, you'll get it free with the commercials. If you pay like $4.99 a month, then you'll get it without the commercials.
I will say though, if you are an Office fan, this is really, really cool. There are scenes I've never seen before.
Deleted scenes are awesome.
Well, not only are they deleted, they've edited them into the regular show, so they're seamless. Like it's The Office would be
cool.
22 minutes usually. Now you have about 32 minutes of content.
Wow.
So there's an
That's
extra
cool.
10 minutes.
That's fun.
They only
if you love it.
Yeah, they only done season 3 so far, but they're going to do, I believe, all of the seasons where they add in that stuff.
Yeah, I was taking a look at that, and The Office, and by a good bit, it was talking about the most streamed shows for 2020. And yeah, your Office is a numero uno, my friend.
It's easily the most watched thing I've ever seen in my life, including all of the Star Wars.
Yeah, it was really impressive kind of looking at it. It's in the category of acquired series, but people spent 57 billion minutes watching The Office last year.
And funny, you guys do not really ever watch it at all.
I haven't yet, but I really do. I feel like I need to get in on it. So I will. Now that I'm coming out of football season, I'll have some time to watch stuff. So on the weekends, I'll get back into binge watching. So The Office is going to be on the list. Cobra Kai's on my list.
It's one of those. The Office is one of those ones where you got to give it a lot of time because you have to have a lot of character development. Once you get into season 4, you'll be in love with the show.
Right. I'm looking forward to that. And my wife is not a patient person. We watched the first episode together. She's like, this is stupid.
You
Turn
got to
it
be
off.
patient for it. It's kind of like our show. You hate it for a good 3-6 years.
It's a slow burn.
Slow burn. That's a nice way of saying you guys suck.
Grey's Anatomy was second at 39 billion. So it's a pretty good, jump from 39 to 57 between the 1 and 2 most watched shows. Criminal Minds, NCIS, and Schitt's Creek. Those are the top 5.
Back in the day, that was my cozy little Thursday night program. I'd watch The Office, and then I'd watch Grey's Anatomy. It was on Thursdays
Okay.
on NBC. What a cozy little block of programming.
And what I thought was interesting, too, original series created by the streaming services that are out there, Ozark is number 1, and by a lot, 30 billion minutes watched in 2020. And number 2 is 18 billion. That was Lucifer. So there's a big drop off there, and this is the final season of Ozark. I think Netflix was just like, we're not going to make any more. But clearly a very popular show. The Crown was 3, Tiger King and The Mandalorian was 5, followed by The Umbrella Academy and Denny's favorite, The Great British Baking Show.
It's a good show.
Lucifer was number 2?
Yeah, with 18, almost 19 billion minutes watched.
Wow. That's got that chick in it that I love. She's so sexy. I'm looking for her name.
We're listening.
Shit. What's her name? God damn it. She's Israeli and she's hot AF. And she was in that show that I was just loving.
So if Panda wanted to, something like that, would you be into that? Because you're sounding like you're lusting for her. Do you look at her with those kind of eyes?
I mean, I really don't want to get down with her, but I can look at her and go, damn, that shit's hot.
Lauren German,
No.
who plays Chloe Decker. What does she play? What's her...
I'm looking to see.
Mazikeen? Is it Inbar Lavi?
Yes, in
Okay.
Bar Lobby. That's her.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. You need to Google her.
Okay.
In-bar lobby. It sounds like you're going to the in-bar lobby.
L-A-V-I.
L-A-V-I.
Not the bar lobby.
Like the indoor lobby.
He loves the lobby bar. Lucifer. I didn't think it was that big of a show to be number 2 in streaming.
Yeah.
It must
crazy.
be good.
Crazy.
Is it better than True Blood? It's like one of those creepy devil shows.
It's more watched.
I do not see you getting into Lucifer. I just don't see you getting into it.
Really?
I don't know. Do you?
I watched True Blood.
Yeah, but you complained a lot about it. You never really liked it. It was always a bunch of bullshit I had to hear on Monday. Hey, fucking fairies, what?
The shapeshifters pissed me off.
Yeah, the shapeshifters, they're okay.
They were stupid.
We got an email here from Carrie B. in Greenwood. I believe that's Alabama. Said, my husband just had me watch the ending of a show called The Legend of Cocaine Island. It made me think you guys, because you're always asking the question of what would you do if you found a square grouper or coke washed ashore on the beach. I think you'll enjoy it, especially since Kevin loves cocaine so much. I do, and I have seen it. It's a guy that did find some, and he buried it, and then he was a dude that, hey, not doing cocaine, but he wanted to sell it because he realized the value of it, and he fell into a sting. And the cops are involved, and he gets arrested.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's basically the real-life tale of what you do if you find a lot of cocaine. And you're like, oh, I can handle this, but you're a regular dude and don't know what you're doing.
I feel like if no one's looking, I can break off me a piece and then sell that. I don't know. But
Don't sell anything. You got to get a guy.
Well, that's when I say sell, I would get a guy that would
give it all to the guy, and it's probably a guy you know already.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about.
My older kids have just started watching Narcos, and they love it. They're blown away by it. And I told them, I'm like, well,
Season 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
like, you need to then check out Cocaine Cowboys, the documentary, which gives you a nice South Florida tie.
Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're both fantastic.
Have you seen that yet? Damn
no,
it, Virginia.
I don't think I've seen Cocaine Cowboys.
You're watching some.
Cocaine Cowboys is fantastic because it's all local. I mean, you're looking at, all these things that, these guys are living in Miami, West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, stuff like that.
Is it on Netflix?
It is.
I think it's YouTube, right?
You can get it, and yeah, we'll get it for you.
I would watch it.
Yeah, you of all people would love that.
I loved Narcos. If it's like Narcos season 1, bring it.
You would love. You actually might like part 2 even more because it deals with a infamous woman who fucks shit up.
Griselda Blanco.
Oh, yeah.
I did like Queen of the South, and that was all the same thing. A female drug lord.
You could argue that the Blanco chick was way more cutthroat than Pablo.
Yeah.
She would fucking
Ruthless.
kill people just because she would
liked to chop
think
them up,
they
put them in a
slighted
box.
them. Yeah, you cut him off in traffic. She's like, off with his head.
And she just throw the box out a window of a moving car, and it'd be on the side of the road.
She didn't give a
They
shit.
kept finding bodies all over South Florida.
Damn.
Yeah, she's also the one that sent the hitmen to, they're in Kendall. They're at...
Dade County, was it the
yeah,
mall area?
Yeah, Dadeland Mall.
Just started gunning people down.
Just broke out, machine gun, and just started...
Yeah, the Cocaine Cowboys is a documentary. That you'll like that.
Okay. I'm going to get it.
It's fascinating
We've had this
stuff.
conversation 11 times. Oh, yeah, also watch Usual Suspect.
Doug said, check out the Netflix new series Surviving Death. It's excellent. Also, maybe check out Vikings on Amazon Prime. Love that. So, and I said also a history nut. When you guys were talking about masturbation the one day, it made me think of an old fact. Back in the 1600s, it was thought that your health depended upon the humors in your body. Well, one that could get out of whack was the sex humors. It was recommended for those who were either virgins or unable to have sex, one should masturbate to relieve the tension. It was a minor sin, but if one confessed, and confession, a small absolution, was a little price to pay to maintain your health. This was especially true of women who, if they had too much of the sex humor, could go hysterical. This is because of the over-sexed nature no control like men had, the prevailing option at the time. Since men and boys were considered to be handy at this, it was seen as no problem for them or experienced women, especially widows. But for virgins, assist the girl in keeping herself healthy. It was thought that if they're having trouble accomplishing the act, that a midwife or female could help them masturbate. Would that be odd?
So what if you went about it this way? every time you masturbated, you prayed right before, please forgive me, I'm about to masturbate.
Forgive me for what I'm about to do.
Yes. And then you pray, you bookend it, Virginia. You pray on the front end, and then after you come, you go, oh my gosh, please forgive me.
Thank you, because that was awesome.
Yeah, what have I done? I feel like an animal, but I feel so much more relaxed. Forgive me.
I just feel like maybe they were onto something, because hasn't there been studies that have said that it's good for certain male organs to do that?
It's good for the prostate, isn't it?
Yeah, milking the prostate, yeah.
So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I'm sure it's probably tied into something physically for us too that we just haven't figured out yet.
I think we all could probably afford to up our masturbation game.
Well, when you see people, like, especially at work, and they're all uptight, and you're like, ugh, she could use a big O.
There's no way they've had an orgasm in the last...
Right, but then think about it, like, physically, she's all clanked, she's all yucky, she's probably tense throughout her body. The big O would do her a favor.
Kind of turning me on. I love it. This is great. Let's go another 10 minutes.
This email says, hey, I've been listening to your show since I was 13. I just have a few questions because I wanted to know what kind of podcast you guys love, because I'm getting bored at home. And I also have a question for Virginia. I have a son that is 1 year old, and I'm breastfeeding, and so many people are telling me to stop breastfeeding that it doesn't help him, and he is too old now, and I just need some advice because I don't know what to do. Also, I saw this on Facebook, and I wanted to know if this happens with boys and how should I prepare. I am going to attach a picture of this argument that happened, and it was posted by this woman named Heidi, and this is in a support group, and it says, Moms, this is one of those questions. How do you teach your kids not to masturbate in public? Gosh, I can't believe I'm asking this. Here's the deal. My oldest 3 kids, ages boy 7, girl 5, boy 4, share a room. Each of them is discovering their bodies, which is fine. However, my soon-to-be 4-year-old son will start humping the living room floor, and I'll find my 5-year-old daughter rubbing away in the kitchen. I'm going crazy. My 7-year-old has learned to keep his business, too, when he's in bed, but it sort of shakes the whole bunk bed. How do I explain being more private or just freaking stop it already?
All 3 of your kids are masturbating themselves into a frenzy at the same time. Oh my gosh. This is why you don't have 3 kids.
I assume most parents don't have to deal with this if each kid has their own room, right? That's not an option for us. Oh, man.
Wow. It sounds like you have 3 charged up children.
You just got to sit them down and say, we don't do that. We do this in private time.
But they don't have private space.
But
they share a bedroom.
There's still private space, even in a bedroom like that. You don't do it.
Maybe in the bath.
I mean...
We know of your love of shampoo.
Just don't do Head and Shoulders. It burns the dick.
Here's some of the comments that were posted up along with it. It says, what is going on in your home? Not trying to be judgmental, but you might need to look at behavior of an adult in the house. What are they watching? Who are they around? Even make sure they don't do things to each other. My daughter is 10 now. Her body is changing, but she doesn't even know what is going on. I'm helping her understand every change when she tells me these children are too young for this.
Yeah, your masturbation problems may be a learned behavior from one of the siblings watching another of the siblings.
The fact that there's 3 of them just walking around like masturbating zombies, that should tell you there's something weird going on there.
Yes.
That's not
not normal to have 3 like that going all at in different ages. And
as the parent, you should be able to sit your kid down and say, no. This is wrong. When you do this in front of other people, this is wrong. And then if the kid keeps doing it, you got to give a punishment.
Said something is not right, lest someone said maybe family therapy, communication. That was the first comment.
It's not your fault, first of all. I mean, these kids are probably watching each other. And they're it's not their fault either.
But it is your fault if you don't sit them down and tell them what they're doing is inappropriate and wrong, because then they're going to go outside and they're going to start doing that. Look, we all had parents. If my parents sat me down when I was being out of line, they would get in my face, and I knew not to do that shit again.
Sure.
I do sort of hold the parents a little responsible.
Second comment said, I actually agree with this. My son is 7, and there's absolutely nothing like this happening. If they're all doing it to a point, that it's driving you crazy, I think you may need to dig a little deeper to find out why. And the third comment says, wrong. This is actually complete normal behavior. Sounds like you grew up in a home where normal behavior was shamed. It's not sexual to the kids. They just know it's sensitive and feels different, so they do it. It's a comfort thing, usually.
It's always in the approach. You don't fly off the handle. Don't get all fucking mad and weird. But you do got to address that with your kids because you don't want them diddling themselves when they're out in public.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Absolutely. I don't have kids. I don't know.
I mean, if you can't figure it out, too, don't be embarrassed to ask for help from a children's psychologist that can maybe navigate this with you and help you, because 3 kids masturbating themselves into a frenzy out in public, that's a lot for one mom.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to call in some experts and get some help.
Yeah, and no one's denying that that's not normal behavior. Like, kids are going to explore themselves, but you got to teach their, just like how you don't have your kid shitting in someone's car or shitting on someone's lawn, because they know it's a private act. You can't be shitting everywhere. You can't be jerking it everywhere.
Sari had sent an email, and we were talking about polyamorous relationships of a girl who was dating a married man whose wife approved and then tried to get them into the little group that they had with 2 couples. On Showtime, they got Polyamory, Married, and Dating. That show explains so much about this. I watched it a long time ago, but it was like a reality TV porno show. I attached a screenshot. Very fascinating, and since it's on Showtime, they don't hold back.
Showtime don't give a shit. They will talk about it all, Virginia.
Right.
It just sounds so dirty. Married and dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, for you, it would be dirty. For you.
Yep. Let me see here. Amy in the chat room said, I am so disappointed with your show this morning. 2 men who are not doctors scaring people into not taking a vaccine in a pharmacy, sending out conspiracy theories that the person asking if customers want a shot, and you telling people that maybe the pharmacist that asked is not real, or maybe someone just threw on a white coat and they are not real. Thank you, Virginia, for saying that you would take the shot. 4,000 people died yesterday of COVID. You should be advising people to go get it and not surmising that the pharmacist is not real. You are not doctors. Everyone needs that vaccine now. I turned off your show and may never turn it back on again. Shame on you.
My boss is named Randy. What's her Randy?
You don't even know your boss's name.
Randy West?
That is funny.
Well, I said it out loud, and isn't that a porn name too? It's Randy, but her name's Randy West, right?
Is she in porn?
No, but there is a porn name Randy West back in the day, and that's why when I said it out loud, I know her name. Mm-hmm. But my point is, my boss is Randy or Elizabeth. Send them my information and get me canceled. Mm-hmm. Cancel my ass then. If you can't listen to the show because we're making a fucking joke about a fake, cancel my ass.
Yeah. Well, and the point that I have said about the vaccine, it was like, would you take it right now if somebody walked up to you a pharmacy and offered it to you? And
you said no.
Right, because right now I've got the antibodies, and I'm going to let other people get it that need it more than I do. So I would feel actually guilty if I jumped into the front of the line and took the vaccine right now. On the back end of it, depending upon what is happening with COVID, it's something I would consider. But if this happened today, I would not take it.
Do you know why Amy's annoying? I'll tell you why. Because she addressed the 2 men. She made it a sexist thing, like the 2 men in here are completely steamrolling the woman and fuck COVID and fuck pharmacists.
I loved her email.
Well, of course, because you hate men. But the sex of that conversation should have nothing to do with your complaint, Amy.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a facetious story about just some guy walks up, and I'm like, how do you know? Like, it could be a guy because you're talking about you're just shopping in Walgreens and somebody walks up to you.
It was a TikTok.
A white lab coat. Yeah.
There was a guy in a like a CVS or a Walgreens or something. He was just shopping, and the pharmacist came over and said, hey, do you guys want to get the COVID vaccine? Because we opened up all these shots to inoculate these healthcare people, and not all of them showed up. So we have it open, and you can't restore it. You have to give the shot to somebody or it goes bad. And I was like, well, yeah, I'd take it in that circumstance.
This may not be the show for Amy. Yeah. Mo and Sally might be your... I don't know.
People should do what they feel compelled to do. If you feel like you should take it, go take the damn shot, Amy. It's all good.
Well, it's you. You guys don't have the same opinion, so now shame on you.
How dare me?
You man.
Yeah.
I hope my ass is in the CVS and the pharmacist says I got extra. I'd be like, please. I'd call a friend.
Yeah, I mean, see, people are like, why do you guys talk about that? Because motherfuckers they can't even deal with this, the COVID conversation.
Yeah.
So she's not going to listen ever again?
Yeah. And it was a facetious conversation meant for comedy, not for anything serious. It wasn't any kind of soapbox stance on people not getting the vaccine, just to be clear.
I love it when people try to scare me. Well, I'm never listening again.
Yeah, Eve said really that complaint didn't know that bit was a joke. Yes, it was all a facetious conversation, meaning it's done tongue-in-cheek. There was humor in it, so that's just kind of how we operate, and that's why we don't handle, back to it, serious subjects.
Amy, if you had a problem with or was that today's show?
Today, yeah.
The shit I want to say tomorrow is going to be real fucked up.
Yes. Somebody said Amy needs a shot of tequila.
Oh, give her one.
All right. Now, you're free to express your opinions and complaints. We're fine with it.
Amy is cool.
It's all good. You're fine, Amy. All right. Got anything else that you want to say? You can go ahead and send us in an email. We'll get to it tomorrow.
Kevin, I got some shit to say.
Okay, well, I'm done today.
Oh.
I want to talk more about doctors and the pharmacist.
Mail at kvjshow.com. You guys have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.